11,000 years. You are in the photon band under the age of Aquarius. And these goddesses are awesome. These beautiful melanated goddesses, which we never see on TV or we don't see in the movies because we have that Zionist image maker giving you their Aryan blondes, which they don't even possess. Hitler must have put some heavy shit on their ass because they are blonde-headed Aryan insane by now. Leave this garbage matrix alone and move into a much higher dimensional level of existence. You have 9 dimensions to work with. You have 9 bodies to work with. You have a 12-stranded DNA system to work with. You are a multi-dimensional God as well as goddess. So why not reveal that to the world and stop being a slave to this ignorant monster? Learn that you are a divine being with no beginning, with no ending. As Krishna says, never was there a time when we did not exist. We have always existed, and we shall always continue to exist. Our existence covers both land and sky. We are everywhere. We exist inside the planet by the hundreds of millions flying spacecraft. We exist in the higher dimensional heavenly realms as well as in outer space flying spacecraft. We exist everywhere.
A lot of people out here on the earth's surface will not be able to believe what this man is saying because you've been going to the schools and the churches and you've been conditioned by this beast that's controlling the earth and the commodities of the earth to only know the Bible. This is why you're not allowed to get inside the earth. I go inside the earth all the time. As soon as I first came out and started introducing this knowledge to the world, I made it perfectly clear that I go into the earth to visit my mother. And so this is what's going on. You guys can walk around here and keep looking at my personification if you want to. That's up to you. But I'm telling you something. Yo, Jesus, white man that you waiting on to come back, just keep on waiting. But while I'm here, the true sent person that fits that description, and you try to ignore me and you want to be stupid as hell and try to treat me like a man because you just want to remain a man yourself. See, that's outside of the true dynamics of how our universe works. All my family members and everybody who want to sit at me and look at me like I'm weird or strange, you can't understand the God power in me because you haven't activated your God power. You still want to worship a God outside itself. You don't want to stop all the bad habits. You don't want to make a commitment to elevating yourself for the well-being of the other members in your family and on the earth with you. So what everybody do is ostracize me and find wrong in the truth that comes out of me. But again, I'm going to say to the world, the whole dynamics of what's going on is that I am not a man. I am the sunlight that came here to this earth and got encapsulated in these aggregates to have the experiences that I've had with all the people I've had the experiences with. Not one person on this earth can say anything about another person because we all are sinners and we have all done things that we all are going to have to be held accountable for. So get off your ego and stop worrying about what Sister Jackson or Miss Jones or whoever the hell is going to think about you. What's going on that's in your heart frame that you overlooking, that you should be paying more attention to, is that you are a god or a goddess that has thrown away this level of being for all the petty bullshit you want to hold on to that this white man has taught you to become. So of course you're going to be wanting to hate on me and find fault at me, and I have to attack you and get at you to make you get stirred up and tell you everything that's going on because this is what the sunlight is making me do. So I don't care about the rejection and hatred. What I care about is not doing a good job. So the universe is not going to say to me, you didn't work hard enough. I apologize for the last segments I put up. The music was just way too loud. I mean, I didn't know that when I was doing it. But it is what it is. It was some really, really good information in that if you can hear me, which you can't. And it's really disturbing to me because I say some good, important stuff that I was channeling from the universe. But anyway, things are what they are. It is what it is. So, yeah, I just wanted to point that out because I know that it's just, you know, when I started doing this, all my friends, who weren't friends anyway, everybody wanted to reject me. I think it's because of the fact that nobody is willing to deal with the true reality of their lostness in this world. So it's better as a collective group of people for all you guys to look at me as being a solo lost person and all of y'all being the normal people. But see, the problem is that all of you all are sick because you don't want to see this knowledge that's coming to you from God that's wanting to resurrect the people. And those of you who don't get it, unfortunately, they build concentration camps for you. Hate to tell you that. You're going to be sitting your dumb ass up in that church and you're going to get on the bus and think you're going to the country club with Bishop Blake and they going to pull their ass up into that motherfucking concentration camp and feed you to the graves. Okay? Now this is something that you all should be worried about happening to you. You should not want that to happen to you, okay? No, I'm telling you the truth. You should not want that to happen to you. Do you understand what I'm saying to you? What I'm saying to you is that after someone comes on the earth and works diligent, as I have done, to let you know that there's other things on the earth that we all need to be trying to tune into to return ourselves to our greatness. If you overlook it, that's on you. But people are going to know that you were told because they know I got a big mouth and I was going to tell it. And that's why they picked me. All right?
We'll give you several variations, but we were in the constellation of Orion at one time. That used to be the original home of our star beginnings. And we were perfect. But we wanted to, but once you reach perfection, the only way that you can expand beyond perfection is you...
Sorry, Bobby, you out here, I can't hear you. All right, so this is one of my best scholars. I like to listen to this lady. Her name is Dr. Marimba Ani. She made a book called Yurugo that if you hadn't read it, you should.
Committing biological genocide against us, and that by the year 2000 whatever there would be no more black people, you would get one reaction. But you were saying that we're being threatened with cultural and psychological extinction. How do you get African people to see the urgency of the situation?
I don't know, frankly, if you can. I think that we have to focus on young people, young African people who have not been so conditioned with a way of thinking that supports European imperialism, European power, that they still have the ability to use their intuition.
You know, I want to stop this for a minute because I want you guys to know something. She got a book called Yurugo. It's an African critiquing of Western civilization. It's the definition that they give on the book cover. So I got involved with this book because I used to go down to the Crest Center and we actually did a study of this book. Let me tell you guys something. That book that lady wrote, this lady you're looking at right here, if you do not have that book and you're not studying it, you are not doing anything that's worthwhile. Let me explain to you what I mean. The biggest obstacle that we as a melanated people have on this earth is the obstacle of getting past oppression of the European people who have put over us and canvassed us under. The fact that you don't know that that's a circumstance in your life means that you are not conscious of what's the dynamics of your life. Her book, Yurugo, shows you not only the circumstances of your life and not only the ramification and the removal of the circumstances of your life, it shows you how your circumstances were implemented as well as why, and it also shows you by who, and it can even go as far as showing you when and where sometimes. If your brain is fast enough to keep up with it, sometimes you have to put the book down because it make your head hurt to read it. You got to be very, very wise. But if you make it through that book, you're going to be a bad mama jamma. Trust me. So it's called Yurugu, and she also have DVDs to support the study lectures that go along with it. And I would advise you to get involved with Dr. Marimba Ani Yurugu, because it ain't no joke. Feel me?
Their spirituality, their Africanness, to create, to think beyond the limitations that have been given to them in European academies. I think most of us as adults, as elders, have been so conditioned that we're afraid to move beyond the parameters that have been defined by our enemies in our thinking, so that our vision is limited. And so we are really not the people who should be conceptualizing the plans, the movements, what we should be building. But I focus on the younger people who hopefully are still more in touch with what is natural to African people.
No, they drink the 40s.
If I can affirm that in them, they will see the urgency. I find that in my teaching. I find that in teaching young people, that once they are affirmed and introduced in a conscious way to the African worldview, it becomes crystal clear to them. And they see an urgency in us as African people building for self, as opposed to imitating forms which have been put in place to make sure that we continue to be oppressed.
Culturally and psychologically, do you think we realize what we have lost?
No, not. It's ironic because
she was like, y'all people out there making all those threats and everything, that ain't right. Y'all better stop doing that. Sounded just like my grandmother when I was a little kid. I laughed about it because, see, the thing about it is I can understand her desire to not see anyone get hurt. But believe it or not, the reason why I'll be out here making threats to the European race about them being destroyed by this Federation of Light Ships, if they don't become in compliance and change everything about their concepts of thought and everything, all that religion terror that they put on us, they're getting a chance to do a 180-degree turn and recognize that they have some repair work to do to our race, and that's all to the whole human family, including themselves. For them to, after all this evidence that I've given them and other scholars, for them to still want to remain in that filth and hold on to that albinism as their God and think they're going to keep perpetuating that around the world and holding on to that prestigious advantage over us melanated people who have all the light ship and who is really, really the true owners of this planet. The truth about it, ma'am, is that they are going to be destroyed and killed through the weather elements. And, I mean, it's really the truth. So don't think that I'm just some loudmouth person out here screaming off threats to these white people. What I am is a prophet telling them that the sun is getting ready to kill them because they had a chance to show them being capable of being something other than what they proved they were. And they still have a chance to prove that now. But as you can see, they want to be stubborn and hold on to their fake whitewashed Jesus religion and think we're going to be their slaves forever and begging them forever to have a right to be on this earth. And you know what? That's not true. Because the sun and the light ships and the animals on the planet, as well as your own family members, are all going to be invited through the power of the electromagnetism that governs this universe to help and assist it in the eradication and removal of the parasites